8 years ago, Katie Cannon was playing in the backyard of her family home the day she went missing. When she was found, she was uncovered alive in a 3,000-year-old sarcophagus. What happened to Katie? From the studio that brought you Weapons and producers James Wan and Blumhouse comes a terrifying new vision. On April 17th, discover the truth. Lee Cronin's The Mummy. Some things are meant to stay buried. Only in theaters, in IMAX, April 17th. Rated R, under 17, not admitted without parent. Welcome to Scare You to Sleep. I'm your host, Shelby Novak, and I'm here to read you some fascinating and sometimes horrifying true tales sent in by your fellow listeners. Some of these are older submissions. I've been really trying to make a point to dive deep into my emails, past the spam, and all the shit I was somehow subscribed to without my knowledge, and notifications from all the apps and websites I use for work, and to get to some things that may have been buried. And I found a few, so hopefully those who sent these in will forgive me for these being on the show almost a year after being sent in. Like this one, our first story, which is short but oh so chilling, from Ira. Hi, Shelby. It's not that big of a story, just something little that happened to me, but it's stayed with me ever since. I've been listening to your podcast for the past 4 or 5 years, and I absolutely love it. I'd like to stay anonymous, but you can call me Ira, and I'm from India. This is my first time sending in a story, and honestly, I don't mind if you don't share it on your show. I just wanted to share it with you. Well, here it is. So this happened around 2018. I was 14 at the time. My mom wasn't home. It was just me and my little brother. He told me he was going to take a shower, and I got busy cleaning my room like I was told to. I was almost done when I saw my brother walk back in and sit on the bed. I snapped at him, telling him not to mess up the bed sheet since I had just made it. But he didn't respond. He just stared at me, completely silent. That was weird in itself. He always talked back, always, but this time, nothing. Just this quiet, blank stare. I turned around and got back to what I was doing, and when I looked back at the bed, he was gone. Something didn't feel right in my chest, like a chill. I went straight to his bathroom, knocked, and asked, "Were you in the bathroom this whole time?" And he said yes. He hadn't come out, not even once. My whole body just froze. I ran back to my room and looked at the bed. The side where he sat, it had wrinkles. The sheets had been messed up. I didn't imagine it. I didn't hallucinate it. I fixed them and said nothing to anyone. Years later, when I finally told my friends, they didn't believe me. My mom didn't either. Neither of them thought it could have happened. But I know what I saw. I know it was real. I've heard stories about doppelgangers before. Maybe I saw one that day. Who knows? Thank you so much for reading my story. I love you and your podcast so much. Take care, and always stay happy and healthy. Thank you so much, Ira. That was a very scary story. Stories of doppelgangers never fail to really give me the chills, because what is it? I say that so much on this show. What is it? What is happening? We'll maybe never know, but I do believe you. I believe you. I believe those sheets were wrinkled. I believe something that looked like your brother sat on your bed. I'm just glad you're okay and didn't get, like, I don't know, what happens if you run into a doppelganger and the worst happens. What is it? Do you get sucked into another universe? I don't know. But thank you again, Ira. Our next is from Maya. Hey, Shelby. I sent in my experience with sleep paralysis last year, but wanted to also share my only real paranormal experience as well. As a teenager in high school, I met a new friend at my church who had just moved to Florida from New Jersey. We both loved everything about horror movies and zombies, so became best friends pretty fast. His family invited me over for lunch after church one Sunday, and I happily accepted. His family was originally Catholic and very superstitious, but they are to this day some of the nicest people I have ever met in my life. They had rented a house upon moving down and had been living in it for, I believe, 2 to 3 months by the time I came over for lunch. While sitting around the dinner table eating with his family, a bedroom door in the back of the house could be heard opening aggressively and slamming so hard I would think the frame cracked. I looked around the table as none of them even flinched. His dad looked at me and saw my mixed expression and said, "Oh yeah, sorry, that happens in this house. We've all kind of gotten used to it at this point." I questioned my friend later, and he told me a lot of things like that happened in the house, but nothing ever dangerous. The occasional face in a window or background of a mirror. I thought their nonchalantness was a little concerning, but wrote it off as the human ability to get used to anything. Fast forward several months, and I was invited to spend the night for his birthday, along with many other of his friends from school. We stayed up late eating junk food and watching zombie movies, and his dad came in around 2 to 3 a.m. to tell us it was time for everybody to go to sleep. My buddy went to his room to sleep. I and his other friend had claimed the 2 couches for our own earlier in the evening, and there were probably about 5 to 6 other boys sleeping on the floor between the 2 couches. We all went to bed without an issue, and while I was just in that twilight state about to fall asleep, I heard a woman's voice scream at the top of her lungs like she was being tortured. "Help me, please!" It was like it was right in my ear. The scariest part was that I and the other boy sleeping on the other couch had both shot up, looked straight at each other. He simply went, "Did you just hear?" And I nodded in confirmation. Not a single other boy sleeping on the floor had heard anything, or were disturbed in the slightest. The next morning, we confirmed that nobody else in the house had heard anything either. I told him and his family that I would be concerned to ever spend the night again. They moved out of the house a few months later and never looked back. If memory serves me correctly, he did tell me that things began to escalate before they left, but he would never say what. Sometimes I still think about that night and the scream left in my ear. Thank you again for showcasing these stories. They're always my favorite episodes. Hey, so that was so scary. That was so scary. They were just like, yeah, that happens. The door slams. Some lady screams sometimes in the night. I guess technically they said they didn't hear the screaming, but man, I want to know what happened in that house that made them move. I mean, I know they were renting, so they probably just, it was a natural progression to find a more permanent solution to moving, but still, what happened there? I mean, enough happened to you. What a sleepover, huh? That's crazy. Oh my God. Okay. On to the next one. Ugh. Our next story is from Cass. So the stories start from before I was born. When my grandparents were younger, they had a cleaning lady working for them. This is common in our country. Most of the time, they're women who need to provide for their families and don't have the means for other jobs. My grandma suspected her of performing witchcraft. That escalated. We have our skeptics, but everyone steers clear of curses and those who can execute them. I never got a clear story of why they let her go, but my grandma told me stories of how my mom used to scream from the bathroom. When questioned, she'd say she saw a small man looking at her from the doorway, Her brother, who was younger than her, used to have dark circles under his eyes. He said shadow people with red eyes would surround his bed and stare down at him at night. When my grandparents did let the cleaning lady go, she was apparently quite upset, and my grandma speculates that she may have hexed them. Ever since then, without a hitch, every house they've moved to would be haunted. One they talk about a lot was haunted by a beautiful woman in a wedding dress. My grandpa, who is the type to rationalize everything and not comment on anything claimed to be paranormal, said that every night he would feel a weight at the foot of the bed, like someone was sitting on the edge and looking down at him. My great-grandma kept asking who the woman in white was that she'd see walking around the side of the house, when never having heard about her. Too many people had experienced the same things for it to be dismissed, essentially. Fast forwarding a bit to when little Cass was in this world, the earliest story I'm involved in was back when my grandparents lived in his brother's house. We all lived there together, but it was usually my gran and I in the house throughout the day. My gran told me that when she was busy in the kitchen, the fridge would open without any reason, and I'd pop my head into the kitchen before running out of the house. I always told her that something was climbing out of the fridge, something big. Fast forward a little more to the house after that. I remember it being built weird. It was one big house split into two different properties by a single wall. The other house was empty for all the years we lived there. No one would move into it. This house was malicious. The air felt heavy constantly. Red flag number 1 was the mysterious brownish red stain in the carpet of my grandparents' room, and red flag number 2 was the other house. No one was in there, but you could hear movements and voices if you listened closely. In this house, the common thing everyone saw was the figures, like a little kid on their haunches in the dark hallway or under the table. You could make out their limbs if you looked long enough. The thing that burned into my memory were the dreams. I never had anything like them before or since. It was a dream within a dream loop, always the same thing, the house. In the dreams, I could never open my eyes fully and had to fight to move. It was so hard waking up from them. All the tricks didn't work. Sleeping in a bed will put you in a layer deeper. I couldn't move enough to pinch myself or fall over to startle myself awake. I remember calling for help only to hear the voice of my mom or grandma telling me they're coming, but never did. In these dreams, I often saw a woman in the room with me. She had wild black hair and was never aware of me, while I felt this scary male presence that would yell my name. When I pleaded to wake up, I usually managed to, but I'd feel so exhausted that I almost fell back into those dreams. These dreams, while horrible, helped at times. One time in one of these dreams, I heard my grandma crying because she fell off the bed. I slept in their room when visiting. I woke up from the dream to find her on the edge of the bed, starting to roll over. I got up and hurried to wake her up, my tiny arms keeping her from falling. Eventually, when I got into high school, they moved again to a much nicer house for less rent, where they still live 6 years later. Wow, I didn't realize it had been that long till now. This house is an old one, 120 years old, high ceilings with all the intricate patterns. The air there is nice, more kind. The only activity we have are plates moving in the kitchen, which I like to say is the ghosts helping themselves to my grand's cooking, and the odd one that mimics my grandmother's voice and calls them by name to her room when she's not even in the house. Thank you for reading. I've been wanting to send this to you for over a year now, but procrastination's a bitch. Haha. Sending all my love, Cass. Well, Cass, I think it's been almost a year since you actually sent this to me, so I apologize. It's been almost 2 years total. Oh my goodness, there's so much to cover. I'm scrolling through because, it starts before you were born. your grandparents might have a hex on them. Can you get that removed? Can you contact an Etsy witch to have that removed? The woman in the white dress, the one that got me the most is the little kid on their haunches in a dark hallway or under the table. I kept picturing The Grudge, when the kid's up on the ceiling making the noise. Oh God, that's so terrifying. And then, you said this more recent house, there's something that mimics your grandmother's voice. Not to freak you out more, but if you look into mimics, that's a pretty scary phenomenon too. That's one that people say to really look out for and stay away from in the paranormal community is mimics. Again, I don't know what happens if you listen to them, but I don't think I want to find out. I used to have that a lot too, though, when I was a kid. I swore in this one house I lived in growing up, I always heard my mom calling me from the other room. And I'd go in there and be like, what? She'd be like, I didn't call you. And I've never had it since. It's so weird. It's so eerie too. I always put it off, even when I was young, as a trick of my mind or my ear, but I don't know. Very scary. Thank you, Cass. Our next story is from Fox. This one, I wasn't sure if I've read on the show before. I have a system of moving them to a different file on my inbox once I've read them. And I don't know if it's just because I remember reading it when it came in or if I've read it on the show. So my apologies if this has been repeated and that was just on me for not moving it to the other box. Or not, or maybe this is new to everyone. This is from Fox. Hello, Shelby. First off, I'd like to get this off my chest. I know you're trying to move past the name thing, so I think this was submitted around the time when I got that question on the old Q&A episode about them preferring my old last name or something. It was something dumb. So this is nice of you. But I felt the need to say Novak, I'm so sorry if I spelled that wrong. You didn't. You spelled it right. Is an amazing name. Seriously, Scott is so plain and boring. Novak to me sounds like old-timey vampire royalty. I think you'd have made a lovely Queen of the Damned. That is so kind of you to say. That means what a compliment. That's the perfect compliment for me. Thank you. Your voice could definitely be used to control people and to lure people to danger. Oh my God, it just gets better. It's like you read a book on how to flatter me in the best way, and this is it. LOL. Okay, now for my recent experience. This just happened a few days ago. For some background, you should know, I'm currently living in a camper, and my kids live with my mom and grandma in my grandma's house. Since my husband and I split up, I've not been doing well financially and have not been able to get a house of my own. Sending you very good vibes. Just me interrupting really quick, and I'm sending you very good vibes, and I'm so sorry for your situation right now. This actually came in a while ago, and I'm hoping your situation has improved, and I'm just sending you all the love and vibes of abundance. We've known for a little while now that the camper has a ghost or something in it. We got our solid proof the one day that I had lost my keys and was close to tears in panic as my car runs off a key fob and push button start and there is no spare. Wow, that was my exact situation recently. That's pretty crazy. I also don't have a spare to my key fob, and yeah, anyway. I was standing by our little couch about to burst into solid tears when I heard my keys hit the floor in the kitchen area. I was home alone. Another time I was panicking over paper towels I couldn't find, and same result. Like someone or something was throwing them at me. Fast forward a little while later, I was going into work early. My daughter is 12. She was staying at the camper with us. She had been up all night playing on her phone. I told her to go to bed and put my old phone that I only keep for the pictures on record and hid it. I love to listen to my beloved snore. To me, it is the most wholesome and beautiful sound in the world. Also, as another side note, he has sleep apnea, so if he's snoring, I know he's breathing. I am sure that's part of why I love it so much. Anyway, I get home later and retrieve said phone in secret, and I play it back. About 35 minutes in, I hear a voice. Low, and gentle, and in a kind of sing-songy tone saying, "Hey, hey, wake up." And then nothing for a long while. Then again at about an hour in, for about a few minutes. The recording cuts off at about an hour and 6 minutes due to lack of storage space. Well, immediately after I listened to it, I was upset. I confronted him. I was like, "Did you try to wake her up when you know she was up all night?" He argued with me and was like, "I didn't." We fought about it, and later that day I replayed the recording. I had memorized exactly when I had heard it, so I skipped to those parts. Nothing. Well, no more voice. In the areas where the voice had been, it was a high-pitched metallic whine type of sound. I have since deleted the recording because it scared the shit out of me. I've heard stories like this, but never experienced it. I talked to my mom about it, and she said maybe it was trying to wake you up to warn you about something. If it's never done anything bad before, maybe it wasn't now. And I was like, maybe the voice was gone because I wasn't supposed to hear it in the first place. I'm a firm believer in the paranormal and supernatural, as some people put it. There's a creature in the woods out here that my neighbors have also seen. It's huge, and of course, black and shadowy. No hands, arms that bend with elbows, but end with long spikes. I'm wondering if our friendly ghost was trying to protect my family while it was at work, maybe. What do you think? Anyway, I love you and your amazing show. Hope to hear from you soon, or hear my story shared. This is 100% true. Thank you, Fox. Man, I don't know what that is, but what an interesting EVP. I was going to say I wish you still had it, but I mean, if it was that scary, then I don't blame you for deleting it. But still, how strange for it to change, at least in your mind, the next day? I've never heard of anything like that, or the creature you describe in the woods. So thank you for sharing that. You know, I often say this podcast is a one-man show, but longtime listeners know that's not true. I have a boss, one that micromanages me every single day. She even has the audacity to sit in my lap while I do my work. That's right. Her name is Clara, and she's my cat. Clara and I have been through a lot over the last few years, so now that we're stable and chill, I want nothing but the best for her. I would do anything for her. Even let her drive my car, but she can't reach the pedals, so I do the next best thing. I give her Smalls fresh cat food. Heck, since the last time I spoke to you guys, I even got my parents' cats eating Smalls treats and licks. So Clara is not only beautiful and a tyrant, she's also an influencer, spreading the good word of Smalls to her cousins. As she should, because Smalls fresh cat food is protein-packed recipes made with preservative-free, 100% human-grade ingredients you'd find in your fridge, and it's delivered right to your door. That's why Cats.com named Smalls their best overall cat food. For a limited time, you get 60% off your first order, plus free shipping when you head to smalls.com/scare. Starting with Smalls is easy. Just share info about your cat's diet, health, and food preferences. Then Smalls puts together a personalized meal plan for your cat. No more picking between random brands at the store. Smalls has the right food to satisfy any cat's cravings. Clara's even started this fun new thing where she wakes me up in the middle of the night for treats, and as the sun rises to give her breakfast. So stop guessing which meals will upset their stomach. For a limited time, because you are a Scare You to Sleep listener, get 60% off your first order plus free shipping when you head to smalls.com/scare. One last time, that's 60% off your first offer plus free shipping when you head to smalls.com/scare.
This week's episode is brought to you by Well Go USA's new creature feature horror, The Yeti, only in AMC theaters April 4th and 8th and on digital April 10th. When an oil tycoon and a famous adventurer disappear into the frozen wilderness of northern Alaska, a hand-picked rescue team ventures in to bring them home. But they're not alone. They've crossed into the Yeti's territory, and the brutal elements are the least of their worries. Packed with blood-splattered suspense, a towering beast, and gruesome practical effects, The Yeti is a throwback to the glory days of monster movies. Starring Brittany Allen, Eric Nelson, Jim Cummings, William Sadler, and Corbin Bernstein. Don't miss it. The Yeti, only in AMC theaters April 4th and 8th, and on digital April 10th.
Look at him, eating whatever he wants, never gaining a pound. While I'm stuck with the boring special and can't lose an ounce.
How's your lunch, man?
Amazing. Yours?
So good.
Oh, I'm so happy for you.
Cool, buddy.
Weight loss isn't fair, but Mochi Health is. The affordable GLP-1 source that can fix your frustration with food.
So, same time next week?
No!
Definitely.
And your friends. Learn more at joinmochi.com. Mochi members have access to licensed physicians and nutritionists. Results may vary.
This next story is from Jasmine, and it's an update about our favorite egregore. Hi again, Shelby. I just listened to True Horror 34 episode. You read my last message about hearing Santa, and I realized I never updated you after I did speak to my family. My mother told me that when she was around the same age, she heard something outside, and when she looked out her window, she swears to this day she saw Santa flying in the sky, in his sleigh and all. Then when I talked to my sister, she also remembers the whole Colorado story and also remembered when she was 7, we creeped over the stair balcony at our old house and saw Santa, a man in a red suit putting presents under the tree. Definitely wasn't our mother, and our parents were separated at the time. I didn't remember this until she brought it up again, but I totally remember it now, as I was 4 and she was 7. So, sure to say, we are a family that definitely knows Santa doesn't exist, but we have also definitely seen Santa many times, haha. And now I am so curious and want to keep asking around for more stories. I don't expect you to share this email as well, just wanted to update you. It's just so bewildering. Thanks again. Jasmine, of course, I'm sharing this because it just keeps getting more and more bonkers. I've started seeing people kind of mention this phenomenon other places as well. So, Santa's out there. I don't know. And it's still so scary to me. So scary. It's so scary. Like, Christmas is forever changed for me because of all of you and all of your stories. I never saw Santa as a kid. Like, I have no memories like this, but this has affected me. This has affected me so bad. Why hasn't there been a horror movie made about this when it happens to so many people? I don't know. But don't worry, I'm not going to wrap it up with more Santa. And to those of you who are like sick of the Santa stories, I don't know. I'm so sorry. They just keep coming. They keep coming. I actually have not seen anyone express any ire at me sharing the Santa stories. I just get more Santa stories. It's like every time I share one, I get a few more that are like, oh yeah, I saw Santa and I forgot until you mentioned it. It's like, oh my God, what is it? What is it? I swear I could start a whole other podcast just called What Is It? Where I just share all these weird fucking stories and I just yell, what is it? Because that's what I do for these episodes. Okay, but we are going to wrap up with a story from Jennifer. And this is a good one. Hello, Shelby. I have listened to your podcast for the past 2 years, starting from the beginning, and now look forward to hearing new episodes every week. Sometimes I just need a little Shelby in my life. I love to hear it, Jennifer. Don't we all? I mean, I guess I don't. I get enough of me, but it's nice to hear somebody needs a little Shelby in their life. Anyway, here's my true story on why I believe. When I was 12 years old, we moved from Las Vegas to the panhandle of Idaho into the middle of the forest, 40 miles away from any town and 6 miles to the next house. We lived in a cabin with my grandmother and 2 younger twin uncles. The upper floor of the cabin was an open floor plan that easily sleeps 6. My dad, my brother, my uncles, and myself all slept on this floor. The cabin sat on 40 acres of fenced-in property, surrounded by an electrical fence with 3 giant dogs. I never felt safer living anywhere as I did there. My bed was located at the back of the house, under a window overlooking the backyard. In the backyard, to the right, There was an old tin mobile trailer that my great-grandparents had lived in when the property was first purchased, before the house we now lived in was built. That mobile home had been converted into a chicken coop at one point. When my family moved in, a new barn was built to the left of the yard. It now housed the cows, chickens, and rabbits. The mobile home now sat empty and derelict. We were never told to stay out of it, and I had to explore the inside multiple times. There were old belongings, aka history, still inside, but it was stinky and dirty, so not my favorite place to play. Not being able to leave the street in the city to having a whole forest to explore was enchanting. However, you never felt alone, even when you were. As often would happen, I was in bed, just staring out the window as everyone slept. The back porch light illuminated the area enough for me to see the dogs wandering around. There was a connecting woodshed to the house that was heated just for the puppers to sleep in. As I lay there in the dark, all sound suddenly ceased, like time stood still. To the left of the mobile home, I saw a very large, tall, solid, darker than night, black figure. It did not have any defining features, almost like a rectangle shape, but it had fluidity. Not quite walking, but gliding itself, it moved closer to the mobile home. An all-white form, identical to the black one, passed through the closed door of the mobile home and stood next to the black form. They did not seem to take any notice of me. I did have the overall feeling I was not supposed to be watching what I was seeing, but made no attempt at moving. They both simultaneously reached out an appendage and started to, in my interpretation, hold hands. After a few seconds, they glided off towards the area of the new barn. After they passed the barn, I could no longer see or feel them. Sounds were restored and I was unfrozen. I tried to wake up my dad to no avail, then ran downstairs to my grandmother's room. She was a religious woman who stayed in the creepiest room, in my opinion. It had the cellar attached. I was unable to awaken her either, but felt safe enough in her presence to crawl into her bed and sleep peacefully, then the rest of the night. I tried explaining what I saw to everyone the next day, but for the life of me, can't remember anyone's response. I know what I saw. I was wide awake. I didn't need others' validation. I have grown up believing what I saw was the universe's way of telling me that good and evil walk hand in hand. They cannot live without each other, and we must learn to carry on and find the balance. I am now 41 years old and think about this often, even more so when I hear your true stories. The women on my maternal side are from Japan and have always had some form of intuitiveness. I was raised with a step-family from Italy who had psychic abilities and performed tarot card readings as a way of life. I've lived in haunted houses and experienced time slips and communicated with my deceased loved ones and demons in dreams. All imperceptible if you aren't paying attention. Most of that happened before the age of 12. After puberty, I experience less, but my belief has not wavered. Now and again, I'll see orbs and have gut feelings and wake up at 3 a.m. every morning to tell all my loved ones who have passed that I love them and think of them. Thank you again for lending your amazing voice to the creepy world. I hope you know how much love and joy you bring to others by just being yourself. I love to hear about your life adventures. It makes you feel like a friend, and we all need that friend who makes us feel normal. Love your hard work, keep it up, or don't, whatever you want as long as you are happy. Sincerely, Jennifer. P.S. I moved back to the city at 16. Maybe that's why the creeps slowed down. Laughy face. Thank you so much, Jennifer. thoroughly appreciate your story. Your story, that is so scary. I found this one so fascinating because I have experienced, in the past, I've talked about this story a million times, but the absence of sound where the sound of the world falls away. And it's so strange. And when you hear about other people experiencing things like that, it's like, again, what is it? What is it? And what were those things? I love your explanation, though. And you seem to be a very thoughtful, introspective person who believes in a lot of things that are beyond our imagination. And so I think maybe your interpretation could be correct if you've sat with this for this many years, good and evil. I thought maybe it was your great grandparents. I don't know. But I like the cut of your jib, Jennifer. I like everything you had to say, and I appreciate everything you said at the end about me. I really, really, when you guys say nice things to me, it makes me feel very good. I had a talk today with my best friend where I said I made a comment about having no one in my house, like in my home, who I don't have someone who loves me in my home. I know it's so stupid and bleak and self-pitying, but I didn't say it in a self-pitying way. It was a throwaway comment about a different conversation we were having about work, and she was very helpful in that regard. And then I turned around and did this episode, and seeing all of your kind words is just it means a lot whenever you guys say nice things about me and to me, and it means a lot. Anyway, you're not here for me saying it means a lot. You're here for ghosts, and ghosts I did give you, and I hope that you are satiated with the paranormal. I know I am. Man, some of these are going to sit with me. Some of these are thinkers. Again, I can't stop picturing the Grudge kid from the story from earlier. I just don't want to see that. I don't want to walk around my corner and see a kid crouched in my hallway or under a Wow, that one really did get to me. I just got chills up my spine. Thanks, everyone. Thank you to all of you who send in your stories. It's a very vulnerable thing to share stories like this with people, with the public. As you've heard, you can always send them in and request to remain anonymous. I'm happy to do that. And please send in more of your stories. The weirder, the better, honestly. Or even, we've had some people look at Santa Claus, where it's hey, this thing happened and I don't know. And then sometimes you'll see in the comments of these on Spotify or on social media where people will give their opinions about what they think may have happened. I've had several in the past where they're what do your listeners think? Or what do you think this was? And people will tell you what they think it might be. So even though I don't have all the answers, I practically have none of the answers. Maybe as a community, we can all come together and solve the mysteries of the universe. Wouldn't that be nice? Well, this is where I leave you. I will say there is a new bonus episode available on Patreon if you're so inclined to go check that out. It is part 4 of Ted the Caver. And fantastic story. There is only one part left of Ted the Caver. So if you maybe have been holding out because you wanted all the parts there, which I think I saw someone comment that. They were they're waiting to join Patreon when all the Ted the Cavers are out. It's almost there. I guarantee it'll be out soon. Took a little bit of a break, kind of a weird little quinky dink. I took a break from it, not for any reason other than getting busy. And the day I decided to just on a whim be oh shit, I actually have the time and the energy to just record late in the evening a bonus episode. One of the entry in there was the same day I was recording, April 14th. It's pretty weird. Probably nothing supernatural, but it was still, when stuff like that happens, you're ooh, that's kind of weird. Haven't recorded this series since January, and all of a sudden it's the same day as the same part that I happen to be on. Strange. Again, just a strange little quinky dink. So yeah, that's available there. I will have it all as a pack when they're all done. So if you don't want another subscription, but you'd like to listen, I'll have like a price on there where you can just download, you can pay a one-time fee and download all the parts and have your whole, like, I think it's a cumulative, maybe like 2 to 3 hours, a little over 2, maybe 2.5, we'll say 2.5 hours of content. Maybe more. I actually have not counted. I want to say it's like over 2 hours though of content. So yeah, if you'd like to check that out though, patreon.com/scareyoutosleep. Send me your true stories, scareyoutosleep@gmail.com. Just put true story in the subject line, please, because I can properly put them into the right categories and not get to them a year later. All these people did that though. I'm not sorry. That sounded like all these people didn't do that and that was their fault. I'm not blaming them. This was all on me. My email inbox sometimes just does get bogged down by a bunch of bullshit. And so there you have it. But, yeah, so send me your true stories. Send me your fictional stories. Send me just a hi, hello. I love to hear from you guys. I love to chat. I'm a talker. Yeah. And did I bake? Oh, I did. I baked this week. It's not anything exciting. I baked the yogurt cake again, you guys. The one that I always put orange zest into. Cara Cara oranges are in season, and I love Cara Cara oranges. And I used Cara Cara orange in it and some vanilla, and it was pretty good. Pretty darn good. That's what I baked this week. And I have some cool stuff coming out for you soon. Some neat things I've been working on behind the scenes. And coming out next week is going to be a bonus episode that features a very tantalizing, titillating true crime story by my friends at the Antiquarium of Documented Atrocities. So keep a lookout for that. That'll be out Tuesday. And then in a regular episode, I already have the next episode. I have the next one planned out. It's going to be, for those of you who love a very immersive sound design, heavy is not the right word because that makes it sound like it's like a lot of intrusive sounds, but just very immersive sounds. Next week is going to be your jam. I'm very excited about next week's episode. They'll be out same time they always are, which they're never out at the same time, so I don't even know why I just said that. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to go. I actually have an entire script to write tomorrow I don't get any days off this week. I don't get days off a lot because of all the jobs I've taken on. That's okay. I don't dig ditches for a living. Whoa, whew, I can't talk. But I do take on a lot of jobs. Oh, and the sirens are here. Maybe they're here to get me. They're coming to get me. They're like, hey girl, you got to go to bed. You have a lot of work to do tomorrow. I have a whole script to do, again, for a very special episode that will be coming out soon. That is sponsored, which is why it's like different. Okay, I'm going to go, and you're going to go, and we're going to go, and we're going to reflect on whether or not something is watching us from this dark corner right now. Or like when you're watching TV at night, does it ever feel like there's something maybe standing behind your couch, watching, like staring at the back of your head? Because I feel that a lot. And with that, I leave you. Go get some sleep. Sweet dreams. "8 years ago, Katie Cannon was playing in the backyard of her family home the day she went missing. When she was found, she was uncovered alive in a 3,000-year-old sarcophagus. What happened to Katie?" From the studio that brought you Weapons and producers James Wan and Blumhouse comes a terrifying new vision. On April 17th, discover the truth. Lee Cronin's The Mummy. Some things are meant to stay buried. Only in theaters, in IMAX, April 17th. Rated R, under 17, not admitted without parent.